Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Wellness Club. My name is Cass. Thank you so much for listening and thank you for being here. You're going to want to grab a notebook for this episode because we are fully resetting for the month of June. It's a new month. It's the start of a new week. It was also a full moon this weekend. We're starting summer soon. It just feels like a completely new, fresh start. The weather is nice. Everything just feels beautiful and amazing, and everything is coming together for us. So what better episode to make than a monthly reset episode? You guys love when we do these, so let's get into it. In this episode, we're going to do a monthly reflection. So we're going to reflect on the past month and then set intentions for our upcoming month, set goals, all of those things. We're also going to do a couple audits for this month. And then at the end, I'm going to give you a little June to-do list of things that I'm doing in June that I think you should also do in June, just to make sure we're all on the same track for the year. Maybe some things you've forgotten about, or if you want some inspiration to set up your month, set up your summer. That's what this episode is. We're going to start off with the reflection because I think the best way to set intentions for a new month is to reflect on our past month and figure out where we need to grow and what we need to do. So we're going to start this episode with evaluating where we're at right now. Every month I do this on my Notion, and I just do a quick little bullet point list to reflect on my past month and set intentions for the next month. And when I'm reflecting on the past month, I like to start off with the wins. These are wins that really stood out from the month. So I want you to go over the month of May and think about all of your wins. Most of my wins are usually pretty small wins, but when you look back on your progress, those small wins are what make up your life and they're what make up your year. So it's really crucial that we give ourselves some credit on the small wins, because a lot of times you feel like you haven't moved very far at all, but then when you zoom out on your life, you realize, wow, I've actually done a lot more than I thought I've done. So we're going to start off by giving ourselves some credit on what we've done in the last month. Some small ones could be trying a new workout class, making a new recipe, posting on social media, finishing a new book, making a new friend. You can also include some of your bigger wins, like if you finished school, if you graduated, if you got a promotion, if you got a raise, if you started school, if you're on a weight loss journey and you've recently hit a big milestone. There are so many wins, right? I don't need to give you guys a million examples of wins. You know what wins are in your life, but it's important to actually take time to recognize them and pat yourself on the back for a second. I feel like a lot of high achievers and people that always want to do more and more, they're constantly thinking of where to go next. They're constantly thinking what they didn't do and what they need to improve on, and we'll get there too. But it's important to stop for a second and smell the flowers and be like, you know what? I did this. I did something cool this month. I actually did a lot of different things that I said I was going to do. And once you figure out your system for your monthly reset, it's so fun to look back on because you can scroll through. Like mine is literally on my Notion, all on one page, just in a bullet point. And I can quickly scroll through and see like, wow, a year ago in May, one of my wins was doing something that is like just normal for me now. And back then it was a really big deal to me, right? So it's important to really recognize this because you really can start to see your growth over time. I would say try to find at least 5 wins, especially if you're pretty hard on yourself. 5 might be difficult to find, but you can find 5 things you did this month that went really well and that you felt good about. The next part of our reflection that I like to do is I like to write down a lesson that I learned this month. Maybe it's a lesson I learned the hard way. Maybe it's a lesson that I heard from somebody that really stuck with me. Even sometimes it's like a quote that really sticks with me. But any kind of lesson or thing that you learned that really hit you this month, whether it hit you the hard way or you just learned it, that you want to remember. I've actually loved making this a part of my monthly reset because, like I said, when I scroll back on previous months, it reminds me of things that maybe I've forgotten or things that, have really been part of my nature. And I can see, oh, wow, I've been sticking to this for a year, or I've been sticking to this for 6 months, or, oh, I forgot that I used to feel that way. Let me bring that back. One of my favorite ones is always leap and the net will appear. That's something that has constantly come up when I do these monthly reflections because I'll think about it and it will hit me. And then I'll forget about it. And then I scroll through and I remember again. And it's like, yes, leap and the net will appear, meaning just take the jump and everything will figure itself out. Take the risk, make the move. Everything else figures itself out. And whenever I'm reminded of that, I just always think back to this monthly reset and it hits me. Maybe there's a similar quote for you that stands out to you. Like one of my clients told me that one of hers recently has been, you can have it all, just not all at the same time. And that's something I've said a lot on this podcast, but it really does hit you when you remember, like, if you feel like you're drowning in stuff, right? Or you feel like you're not doing enough in every aspect of your life, slow yourself down and remind yourself, you can have it all in the world. It's just not going to be all at once. You're not going to have everything all at once because there's always trade-offs to everything. Think about some lessons, think about some things that you've really learned this month and write it down. Sometimes I have 2, but mainly it's usually one big thing that's like the main theme of the month. What was your main theme of May? Write it down, give yourself a little explanation, think about it, and then we'll move on. The last little part of the monthly reflection that I love to do do is I like to rate the month on a scale of 1 to 10 and explain why. I love this just because it's simple, but it gives me a clear snapshot on where I am in the month. Sometimes you feel like you haven't done anything at all, or sometimes you feel like you've achieved so much. And doing this number, like this scale of 1 to 10, it really helps you put it into perspective of how you actually feel about it. There have been times going into a monthly reset where I'm like, I feel like I have no wins, nothing to achieve. And then when I do this, I'm like, actually, the month wasn't that bad. I spent a lot of time resting. I spent a lot of time recovering. This was a slower season for me and I actually enjoyed it. And then I see like, maybe it wasn't as bad as my mind is making it seem. Sometimes we just live day to day and we think, oh, I'm not doing enough. I haven't done anything right. I'm never going to get where I want to be. But then when you do stuff like this, you see, wow, I actually am making progress every single day. Wow, my life isn't actually as bad as I think it is. Sometimes we're the only ones ruining our own day, right? So doing stuff like this helps me see and will help you see, wow, things are actually better than I thought. Those 3 questions, the wins, the lessons, and the rating, are the only 3 things I do thinking about the past month. I like to keep it simple because I like to keep this reset portion like something I can do in 10 minutes or less. I don't want it to be this big, huge thing that I feel like is now another task. I want it to be something that gives me clarity. It's quick, it's effective, but it's not over the top or anything crazy. Once I do the little reflection part, I like to set some intentions for the next month. And one thing I love to do is another simple thing, but it's think of one focus word that I'm going to prioritize this month. What's your one focus, your one priority for this month? Last episode, we talked about how it's impossible to do everything well all at once. And that's why I love to just pick one priority. You might not be able to do everything all at once very well and effectively, but you can pick one priority and really focus and build your skills in that one priority. Usually my focus word ends up being a verb of some kind, not intentionally, but a lot of times I'll pick words like execute or recover or socialize or build. My most recent one was dialing in. But then other times it'll be things like growth or consistency, self-care, anything that stands out to you, but keeping it 1 to 2 words that's a main focus for you. And if you're into making your own vision boards or your phone background or anything like that, you could even put that word on there if you want to, just as a reminder, or put it on a sticky note on your mirror, but just something that reminds you where you're at and focuses you after you've maybe lost track or gotten distracted or whatever the case is. Once I have my focus word, I like to put down a few things that go with it. And usually I just put this as, I will take care of myself by ... And I'll put 2 to 3 things that go along with that help me actually achieve that focus word. So it's not just taking care of myself by like self-care things, that can be a part of it. But let's say my focus word is dialing in. Taking care of myself also means doing the hard things. It means putting myself out there, networking with people, focusing my schedule, lowering my screen time, whatever the case is, put it down so that like these are the things that I need to really focus my time on doing this month to achieve this focus word. I feel like this little brainstorming session, I call it a strategy session with myself, is time for you to really just get clear and reevaluate, because throughout the month, you start picking up different habits, whether they're good habits or bad habits, and having this little time with yourself to strategize tells you which ones you should keep, which ones you should get rid of, which ones are a waste of time, and just refocus your time and your energy. After that, the next thing we're going to do for the month is we're going to make a mini bucket list of things that you want to do or you're looking forward to this month. Especially now that it's about to be summer, there's just so many fun activities we can do, and having a bucket list gives you things to do when you are just bored on a weeknight, or you just have extra time, you don't really know what to do, or you're going with your friends and you just end up going out for drinks and food because you have nothing else planned. Having a bucket list can give you a bunch of ideas that are actually fun, that you're excited about, that break you out of the pattern of just working 9 to 5 and then going out to eat at night and then that's it. Some of the things on your bucket list can be your hobbies for the month. So like we talked about last week, picking a couple hobbies that are the things you want to focus on, whether it's scrapbooking, whether it's making phone charms, gardening. There's so many fun hobbies you could do, arts and crafts, pickleball, sports, like really anything. There's so many things you could do. On your bucket list, you can also put down your activities with your friends and think about some activities that you want to do. So recently I actually just went to do mini cow Pilates. So there were mini cows, there were mini goats, there were mini animals, there was all these animals. We were on a farm and we did Pilates out there and it was so much fun. It was a different thing to do than just go out to breakfast or go out to brunch or whatever the case is. It was just fun. Like it was just a fun thing to do that was different than the norm. Or you could go do a ceramics class. You could go to a winery. You could try a new workout. You could go for a walk. You could go watch the sunrise. You could go to the movies. There's a million activities you could do. Even like a traditional girls' night out where you actually all have the intention of getting dressed up, making it a whole night, right? Like that's also a vibe. What we want to avoid is that just random, unintentional, just kind of like, okay, we're going to hang out just because we need to check off a box. not like we actually want to spend quality time together. On your bucket list, you can also include your events, your vacations, your trips, the big things that you have to look forward to this month, if you have any. But when you're making it, keep it simple, right? Like we don't want to overwhelm ourselves. We want to make it manageable things that you can do, but give you also some clarity and some inspiration for this month. One of my big things is I just want to live my life. And I think a lot of us can relate to that, but it's very easy to get caught up in like the 9 to 5, just watch TV when you get home, eat dinner, like the same stuff every single day. And yeah, we need to do all of those things, but we also need to break it up. Like this summer, I want to have a lot of weeknight hangouts. Like there's something fun about doing something on a Wednesday, especially if you don't have kids. Like we're in the season. If you're in your 20s and you have no children, like we should be having fun on a weeknight. We should be going with our friends and doing stuff. And it doesn't even have to be expensive stuff. You don't have to go out for drinks. You don't have to go out for food. In fact, that's like one of the most expensive things we could do. There's so many other things we could do. You could go fishing. You could like, there's just so many random things. I don't know why that was my first thought, but there's so many fun things we could go do besides just like living our just regular life. I think part of that is why we're all just so tired when we get home from work because we have nothing to look forward to. I'm tired too when all I have to look forward to is what I'm making for dinner for another night in a row, right? But like the other day, one of my friends came over, she brought her juicer over and we made all these ginger shots and it was my first time ever doing it and we did it right after work on a Thursday. Like we could do fun things on weekdays if you don't have kids, right? If you have kids, this makes it a lot different. But even then, find some things that are actually just fun that break you out of your routine. The next part of our monthly reset is scheduling our workouts. And especially now that it's summer, there's a lot of fun classes you can go to. So see if you can try one new class or just scheduling your workouts and set a goal for the week. What I like to do with my clients is I set some kind of goal and it depends on like your lifestyle, where you're at, what you do, everything like that. But let's say your goal is 3 times a week of going to the gym and doing a workout. Yes, maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday is the most ideal days for you. But if you miss one day, don't get yourself so caught up and beat yourself up because you didn't go on Wednesday and then you just skip, right? Move it to Thursday, move it to Saturday, move it to another day rather than setting, oh, I'm only going to go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Don't be so rigid with yourself. If you miss one day, don't just give up completely. Schedule it for another day, move it to another day. That's why normally each week I just have a goal of how many times I get there. And if it's all different days, it doesn't matter as long as I got there. The next part of our monthly reset is our financial audit. You know, we do this every single month where we comb through our finances and you're going to go through every credit card, every Venmo transaction, every Amazon purchase, every debit card, every form of money that you spend, you should be tracking it. Nowadays, most of us, everything is all online. Like you're mostly spending on your credit card or your debit card, Venmo, right? How many of us actually pay cash for things? So it makes it easy to see how much you're spending in every category of your life. I'm old school. I do it manual where I just go on an Excel spreadsheet and I add everything up and I put it into my own categories. But there's also so many apps that do this for you as well. I'm a little bit hesitant to trust any apps, but I know all that information is out there anyway, I guess. But either way, no matter how you do it, even your actual bank app might do it for you. But look at how much you spend on food. Look at how much you spend on out to eat dining. Look at how much you spend on Amazon and shopping and all these random purchases that we make. And see if there's anywhere that you can move things around, right? Especially if you have a goal of maybe you want to get certified in something, but you don't want to pay for the course. Saving money in these other areas would allow you to do that. Maybe you want to go on a trip with your friends, but you feel like you're strapped on cash. Or maybe you just want to save money and invest your money so that when you're older, you're setting yourself up for your future. The only way you're going to do that is if you're aware of how much money you spend every month and where it's going. You should know where every dollar is going in your budget, whether it's going to your Roth IRA, whether it's going to just random Wawa purchases or random out to eat food because you forgot to get groceries or you buy groceries and you waste them, right? It's important to know where your money is going, especially since most of our stuff is online. It feels like we're not spending real money, but it is very real. So be aware of where it's going. And then the last thing for our monthly reset is we have a little June to-do list of things that I'm doing this month that I think you should do as well. The first thing is we're going to declutter one area of our home and we're not going to fill it back up. I just did my whole closet, including all my shoes, all my accessories, all my bags, and I am resisting the urge very hard to buy new clothes, but it is so nice to have extra space in your closet. Pick one area of your home that maybe is just a mess right now and declutter it. Maybe it's your linen closet. Maybe it's your coat closet. Maybe it's your kitchen cabinets, your pantry, your closet, your garage, that extra bedroom that just has a whole bunch of stuff in it, your basement, whatever it is. Declutter one area of your home this month. I'm not saying declutter your whole house. I'm not saying declutter every single thing. Maybe it's just your junk drawer, but pick one area of your home and declutter it and get rid of stuff and don't replace the area. Let's say you clean out your bathroom cabinets. That doesn't mean go to Target and buy a bunch more soaps, right? Keep it open, keep space. Trust me, after I did this, I did a few areas of my home recently. Getting ready in the morning is now so much easier. Putting things away at the end of the day is now so much easier because everything actually has a home again. So pick one area, declutter it. Another thing on our to-do list is we're going to make a new phone background, especially now that it's summer and it's getting warmer. We want to have something that matches the energy that we're trying to go into June with. Maybe you just pick a fun photo of you and your friends or a sunrise picture or something from your phone, or you can also make a vision board on Canva, or there's other apps that do it. Maybe you pick a quote on Pinterest. I don't care what you do or how you do it, but you look at your phone every single day. It better be something that you like to see that inspires you. I feel like a lot of times now we just keep it the same just for the sake of it being easy, but switching it up really can change your mood. You see it every single day. It has an effect on you. And then the last thing on our June to-do list is I want you to talk to one new person. Maybe it's somebody you work with that you've never spoken to. Maybe it's somebody in your class that you've never spoken to. Maybe it's somebody in your workout class or your gym that you've seen that you've never spoken to. Honestly, even somebody on Instagram that you're just friends with on Instagram that you've never actually met, message them, right? But put yourself out there and talk to somebody new. Even if you want to make it like a business endeavor, right? You want to call up a business that you want to partner with, call them up and pitch your business. But reach out to one new person this month. You have a whole 30 days to do this. You can do this. Network yourself. Make the first move and see how it goes. What's the worst that can happen? They reject you? Who cares? It's good for us to practice rejection and getting over it if that's the case. But best case scenario, it goes really well and you get a new friend out of it. You get someone new to say hi to at the gym. You get a business endeavor out of it. Whatever it is, right? This month is about to be filled with so much love and new experiences and happiness and sunshine, and I can't wait for it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this monthly reset episode with me. Let me know what you think on Instagram at the Wellness Club XO and me at Cass Camp. I hope you guys have the most amazing week ever, the most amazing month, and I am so excited for everything we're going to accomplish together. Have a great week. Bye.